Good afternoon. My name is Oreen Chowdhury. I am the Minneapolis City Council member representing a part of the South Side in Ward 12, and I serve as the Intergovernmental Relations Chair. This is the next installment of the Metro Ice Out Report. This is a regular report that is done by local elected officials from across city, county, state, government to give updates to our constituents on what's happening on the ground and give updates and resources as we're under this ice occupation and invasion. We all are collectively standing together to say ice out of Minnesota immediately and ice out now. We know that we are still under Operation Metro Surge and our community members are impacted. We're going to continue to do these reports until we no longer have a need for them, but we know that many people in the public are wanting to hear from us. There's several things moving through state government, city government, and county, and you'll hear from representatives from all of those jurisdictions today. I'm super excited to kick off today with Senator Doran Clark.
Thank you, Council Member, and thank you for folks tuning in so we can give you an ongoing update on what is happening here in Minnesota and Minneapolis, St. Paul, the whole area. Tom Homan's announcement to draw down federal officials, I'm still hoping and anticipating that he will keep his promise. And it's really in response to Minnesotans standing up and saying, ice out of Minnesota. The drawdown needs to still be in progress, and it's not enough. ICE continues to disrupt and terrorize our communities, and immigrants and people of color are still being targeted. Our communities are not safe. We know that neighbors and children are still missing and unaccounted for, and they're enduring unsanitary, dangerous conditions in detention facilities. Any drawdown needs to be accompanied by returning those people home. And we know that ICE is still active. Just yesterday in Austin, Minnesota, 2 people were taken, a father and an adult son, and they leave behind an 11-year-old boy and his mom. On Sunday, a person was taken by gunpoint from Central and 30th in Northeast Minneapolis from Los Hermanos. And on Sunday as well at 2 p.m., someone was nearly hit head-on when ICE decided to go the wrong way down Johnson Avenue. And just this morning, I watched a video from someone in St. Paul being loaded on a stretcher into an ambulance after their car was, it appears that they were T-boned by another ICE vehicle. ICE is putting children and families in danger and driving kids to do things that they shouldn't have to do. On Saturday, a 10-year-old in Fridley went on a 4-mile walk to find a safe space for his family. His father had been taken by ICE 15 days before, and he went looking for a friend's house in New Brighton, 4 miles from his house. An alert went out from local police saying, if you see Walter, please let us know. Walter was found 5 hours later when he arrived at a friend's house that he was going to try to find a safe place for his family. On Monday, a 70-year-old neighbor of mine shared that he came to the United States more than 50 years ago, and he is a legal, full American citizen here. And his family says he cannot go out into the city. He cannot go into Minnesota because they are scared for his safety. They're scared because of the color of his skin and the accent that he has. He's in the food industry. He needs the day-to-day sales to keep being able to pay his bills. And yet his family says it's safer for him to stay at home. ICE is not making Minnesota safer. ICE is not making Minnesota a better place economically. ICE needs to leave, and we need to keep sharing these stories that we are experiencing day in and day out in Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator Clark. Next, we will go to Representative Sydney Jordan, who has been on the ground and is planning on leading the way this session with some key legislation. Welcome.
Thanks, Oreen. Hi, everyone. My name is Sydney Jordan. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm proud to represent the people of Northeast Minneapolis and Southeast Como in the Minnesota House of Representatives. In the House, I am the DFL co-chair for education policy. So surprising, probably no one, I'm very interested in how our students can be best supported in school. And we are hearing that students are not okay. One of the number one things that we were trying to address coming out of the pandemic, the two things we were trying to address were learning loss from missing school and mental health. We'd been working very hard as a state to help our students recover from that. But ICE's presence in Minnesota has backtracked on gains we've made for both students attending school and for their mental health. We know that students are reporting that their mental health has taken a plummet. They are scared for themselves. They're scared for family members. They're scared for their friends. They're scared for their teachers. They're scared for what this means about the future. And that is having an impact on their learning. We're also just seeing students who, like some of those neighbors that Senator Clark mentioned, just do not feel safe leaving their homes and are unable to go to school and have that in-classroom experience that we know is so critical to learning. Many school districts across the state have stood up online learning, but we know that that is not the same as having a teacher and all of your wraparound supports with you at school. So that's why yesterday I pre-filed a bill to ban ICE from schools in Minnesota. We know that all of these ancillary things come directly from ICE, and that is the main problem, is that ICE are coming into schools and the fear of ICE harassing students and their educators, as we saw at Roosevelt High School, is impeding learning, which is what our students need to be the best adults they can be. It's the legislature, we have a lot of arguments about letting kids be kids, but I think being afraid of federal troops harassing them, maybe even kidnapping them or a family member as they go to school is just not something that is compatible with learning. And that's why we're introducing this bill, along with a host of other bills that were covered on a previous briefing, to make sure that we are protecting Minnesotans from ICE. Ultimately, though, we know that what will keep Minnesotans most safe and help our schools and students thrive is ICE leaving Minnesota.
Thank you so much, Representative Jordan, for that update. We're going to be looking forward to seeing the action that the state legislature takes, especially as session is not that far away. Next, I am excited to go to one of my colleagues on the Minneapolis City Council who has been on the ground each and every day of this ICE occupation, Councilmember Jason Chavez.
Thank you, Councilmember Chowdhury. Hi, everyone. This is Jason Chavez, Ward 9 City Council member. I'll quickly recap the actions that we took at the last council cycle. We put in $1 million into rental assistance. We're still awaiting the signature of Mayor Fry to make sure that we can get this money out the door to support our neighbors. And then since the beginning of Operation Metro Surge in December, we have now allocated $1 million into legal assistance for our immigrant neighbors who are being impacted severely by immigration and ICE and the inhumane family separations that we continue to see in Minneapolis. So these are services meant to support our neighbors who are deeply struggling and being impacted. You all know that we have also called for an eviction moratorium along with many other cities across the state. Unfortunately, Governor Walz just recently said that he's not going to be calling for an eviction moratorium. So our hope is that since there's not going to be action from that the state legislature puts a ton of funding into rental assistance, or else we're going to see more of our neighbors being impacted from displacement. We also have been talking to many of the small businesses across the city. We know that our BIPOC and immigrant-owned businesses particularly are seeing a big impact to the revenue. Many of them are going to shut down without intervention from all levels of government. So my colleagues and myself, so members of the city council, are introducing a small business program, and we're bringing it to a vote on Tuesday, so February 17th. And we're asking to start this $5 million program to support the recovery of our small businesses impacted by Operation Metro Surge. We know that this is something that was really important that we hope passes to make sure that we can support our small businesses. And we're also going to be coupling it with a resolution asking for the county, state, and federal government to also support with the new program and to support our businesses, because we know that it's going to take all of us to truly recover. It's going to take many years to truly recover. We know that the recovery of our businesses and our communities is going to take all of us. So we're hoping to bring that forward at the next cycle as well. And then we're also going to be asking Congress to take action. We know that Congress is looking at Minneapolis and to see what Minneapolis is going to be asking for. We're going to be asking for the repeal of the Laken Riley Act, which has been used to kidnap our neighbors here in Minneapolis and across the state. We're going to be asking for Congress to sign onto the Abolish ICE Act, which we know is really important to keep families together. And we're going to be asking them to not support any more funding for immigration enforcement, Border Patrol, you name it, to make sure that we actually do not use our dollars to separate more families. And what I'll say is that, yes, ICE is still in our community in Minneapolis and across the state. This week alone and this weekend, we have seen neighbors kidnapped on Lake Street, in Powderhorn, in Central, you name it. We have seen it across our city. Dorn was talking, Senator Clark, Representative Jordan were talking about Northeast as well. We have seen this across our city. We are not asking folks to be confident yet and to still take precaution because it's really important to continue to make a plan. We cannot let our neighbors continue to struggle. We are still asking our neighbors to support people with rent, food, groceries, rides to work and back. And we're not going to be resting until this operation ends. And we're not going to give up until ICE is out of Minnesota. So we're going to continue pushing.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Chavez. Next, we're going to go to Hennepin County Commissioner Angela Conley.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Chowdhury. Angela Conley, Hennepin County Commissioner for most of the South Side, including Fort Snelling. I have 3 updates today. The first one is that last week I took county administration to a meeting with the leaders and small business owners at Mercado Central. There is a devastating economic impact to to this occupation that we are under right now, a devastating economic impact to our small businesses. And so I am appreciative of the action that the city council, Councilmember Chavez just spoke about, the $5 million to go to small businesses. The county is looking right now, especially after that meeting we had with the business owners at Mercado Central, on how we can contribute and how much. So conversations are already happening between the county and the city, and it's all along Lake Street. What we're seeing to small businesses can have long-lasting, devastating impacts on their livelihoods, because not only are people not showing up to work, but there's not the business, there's not the traffic there anymore. And so we have long-standing immigrant-owned businesses who are actively having conversations about closure. And that is the last thing that we want to see happen. And that means that all of our government entities need to work together to keep these businesses alive. And so that's what we're doing. We have another meeting scheduled with the good folks at the Midtown Global Market further west on Lake Street to get a feel for what's happening. The county has met with businesses on the north side and northeast Minneapolis as well. So we are getting a landscape of what small business impacts look like throughout the county, and then sort of looking at ways that we can pull together financial resources to help support them. The second update I have is just what I have been up to. So I had a meeting with Tom Homan about ending ICE operations in Minnesota immediately. That was precluded by a letter that was written by myself, Chair Fernando, and Commissioner Heather Edelson. We asked for a meeting to reiterate that ICE needs to leave and get out. What I heard from Mr. Homan was that was also his goal. But again, we can't believe anything that we have not seen. And so a drawdown isn't enough. I can tell you this, just this morning, I saw very tinted out trucks with out-of-state plates. I know ICE is still very present in our community. A fun fact about District 4 is that I do represent Fort Snelling. And so I got a chance. I asked Mr. Homan if I could tour the detention facility at Whipple. It's exactly what people are describing it. I don't want anyone there. It's not a humane space, and I want it closed. And I was very clear during my tour that the detention center at Whipple needs to be shut down. What I am fearful of is that there are flights going to Texas that are increasing in frequency because of the pushback about the detention space at Whipple. So I need to see it closed, but I also need people to get back home who have been shipped to Texas with no way to get back to Minneapolis. And then finally, I will say I'm thankful to the city of Minneapolis for putting in dollars for rental assistance. That $1 million will be administered by the county. We do it well, and we will continue to provide rental assistance. Rent Help Hennepin, the link will be in the description. And so I want anyone who is watching this to share that there are rental resources available for anyone at risk of eviction. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Conley, and thank you to all the officials that joined on today. I just want to uplift the fact that in this moment, in this ICE occupation and invasion, there is a segment, a large portion of our community that is living a completely different life in the shadows. People are afraid to go to work. They're sheltering in place. Some of them have been sheltering in place for months. They have many bills that they need to pay and they have not been able to pay, including rent. And that's why that rental assistance and any other type of assistance from government is going to be key. Even after the surge ends, we're going to be in years and years of recovery, and it's going to be the work of local government and state government to come together to ensure that we recover and that our community members, especially our Black, Brown, Indigenous community members, are supported. I've heard several stories from community members who have reached out. They have lost their partner due to ICE detention, and it's themselves and their children that they need to take care of. They're struggling to get basic groceries. They used to be able to go to their job safely. Now they're not able to. In some cases, they are still going to work, but their workplace is so impacted that making payroll for them is difficult. And that's a bit affecting their ability to just live their lives, to have a place to live that is safe. The other thing that I wanted to highlight to community members is here in downtown in our Government Plaza campus, there has been an increased level of ICE presence. Just the other day, there were 6 Wagoneers parked on a bike lane on parking that was designated for police detail that was not supposed to be there because there was unfortunately a meeting with Tom Homan held here at City Hall, and that scares surrounding community members. It scares our city staff. We have seen ICE agents just yesterday in the Hennepin County Government Building. They took a young man, and it caused a lot of chaos and fear, and several community members, and I'll speak for myself as an elected official, I'm deeply concerned by the collaboration that we're seeing from the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. And I hope that there is an answer to that. And I hope that there is a change. Forming a perimeter and allowing ICE to create chaos in our government buildings is something that I certainly can't stand for. And so those will be things that we will continue to raise as elected officials and want our community to be aware. I also just want to say everyone is being asked to do way more than they should ever have to do. And the reality is the drawdown, the so-called drawdown hasn't occurred. And we want to see a full drawdown. We want to see no ICE in our communities. And even after that, community members are going to need to step up in their mutual aid networks to make sure that everyone is okay, everyone is safe. Our next city council meeting is going to be a meeting of our super committee of the whole on February 17th. That starts at 9:30 a.m. There will be several items related to the ICE occupation and invasion there that I encourage community members to join. We are also going to be discussing a liquor license renewal of a couple of hotels where community members have flagged to us their concern over the fact that there may be ICE agents at hotels, and that has created a level of public safety issues. And the city council regularly has committee meetings on licenses to ask about public safety concerns, to investigate, to learn more, because we want to make sure if we're granting a license that community members are safe. And so there will be a public comment period about that available to community members that same day. Our next Metro ICE Out report is going to be on Friday, February 13th at noon. We're going to do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday until we don't have to do this anymore. There's going to be several different elected officials from different levels of government that come on each time to give updates and share as things evolve here on the ground in Minneapolis and in Minnesota. Thank you so much for tuning in today.